From Software games are not known for their over-the-top amazing quest design. It is not because the lore itself is boring or anything, but presentation leaves a lot to be desired. It is so easy to lose the track of a quest or skip a single step and completely break the entire quest line. But at the end of the day, once you get past all the technical difficulties, pretty much every quest offers an amazing story and they all provide great additions to the lore with unique and amazing characters. I will talk about the quest lines I enjoy the most, but also let me know what are your favorite quest lines. Okay, before we start, like the video or Turtle won't live another day to see the shadow of the Earth tree. Choices for Dark Souls 1 and 2 are pretty much universally accepted. Best minor questline in Dark Souls 1 is without a doubt Rhea. Not only is she one of the most tragic characters in the entire game, but also her quest involves so many other NPCs and the quest itself reveals so many interesting details about the overall lore. You will first encounter Rhea in Firelink Shrine after beating Capra Demon. She is on a mission but she can't reveal what it is. Well, her mission is retrieving Rite of Kindling from catacombs. This will teach clerics how to kindle the fire with even more humanity. It will strengthen the flames, however more humanity will perish from Lordran, which will result in an even more devastating age of hollowing in the long run. Well, this is simply Rhea's mission, selfish clerics risking all of humanity, but Rhea is not sent to this mission by her choice. She was a noble from an influential family, but she was cast away and sent to a suicide mission because she caught the undead curse. Along with Rhea, there are Vince and Nico, two clerics who also carry the undead curse, and also Petrus, a high-rank cleric who watches over the catacombs and guides clerics on their mission. From this point onwards, for Rhea, everything gets progressively worse and worse. In the catacombs, she is tricked by Patches, a major character who is well aware of the evil plans of clerics. On top of this, she is also abandoned by Petrus. If you decide to save her, she moves to Undead Parish to pray for her fallen friends. Soon after this event, you will find out Petrus actually despises her for her high blood. And upon confronting him, it is revealed that Petrus is not there to help other clerics, but his duty is making sure no undead cleric leaves the catacombs alive. You can kill Petrus and save Rhea's life, and it is a happy ending for Rhea, right? Well, not really. In Undead Parish, she is kidnapped by this sorcerer and she was brought to Seed to be experimented on just like many others. And here, abandoned by her goddess, her family and the Way of the White, after tricked by Patches and kidnapped by Seed, she loses everything and she becomes a hollow. Her questline involves so many characters and it is a tragedy from beginning to the end, so it is really an impactful minor quest if you ask me. Well, when it comes to major questlines, there are only two options: Sigmire of Katarina and Solaire of Astora. These are two friendly, joyful NPCs, however they are complete opposite of one another. Sigmire is a suicidal adventurer who abandons his daughter after his wife's death, and throughout his journey he puts your life and his own daughter's life at risk on many different occasions. Apart from this, his questline is a total pain to track. He goes to Anolondo and then he decides to move to Firelink. From there he travels to Blighttown, then he decides to go to Lost Isolate. Later he backtracks and travels to Ash Lake. He's constantly going back and forth, and knowing how easy it is to break quest progression in Dark Souls, his quest is total pain, so I don't really like Sigmire's questline. Naturally, for the best questline I went with Solaire. He's a unique character. He is the only person who accepted the undead curse by choice. He wasn't carrying it, he just randomly decided to take the undead curse. His motivation is quite noble though. In Astora, legend says an undead will eventually escape the undead asylum and kindle the new age of fire. To fulfill the prophecy, Solaire catches the undead curse, travels to undead asylum and then escapes from that place. Throughout the game, Solaire is a friendly NPC that helps you anytime he can. He introduces cooperation, he helps you against so many boss fights, and his questline even has two different endings. In search of his own son, he may go mad and die as a hollow, or if you follow the questline, he will aid you in your fight against Gwyn. His questline is not perfect, but compared to other quests in Dark Souls 1, it is the most important questline that expands from beginning of the game all the way to the end. It has multiple endings, and the questline itself is not there to create extra challenges, but to help players in their journey. Not the greatest questline ever made, but it is easily the best one in the entire Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 2 misses the mark in so many ways, but I always liked this game's world design. There are so many interesting and original characters in the game, and there are so many that just copy the NPCs from the earlier games. Well, the minor quest I picked for Dark Souls 2 is the treasure hunter Pate and Kraton the Wanderer. Questline starts when you meet with Pate in the Forest of the Fallen Giants. He doesn't tell you much, he just points out a treasure and then sends you into a trap. Later you can summon him against the last giant, and not only he will help you, but he will also give you his entire equipment. He will give you his armor set, his weapon and shield. He will also give you this weird ring. Well, gameplay wise, the ring is completely useless, but in the lore it is a big deal. Questline becomes really interesting when you encounter Kraton though. He will tell you the treasure hunter he was working with, a guy named Pate, has trapped him in the cell and left him to die. At this point you can figure out Pate gave you his entire equipment hoping Kraton would think you are Pate and he would attack you and die in the process. As you progress more and more in this questline, you will find out Pate is not a friendly treasure hunter, he is actually the real Kraton himself. Just like how he gives you his equipment to trick other Kraton, the fake one, in the past he gave his real armor and weapon to this pretender Kraton in hopes of distracting others while he could trick adventurers and kill them for the fun of it. A simple quest line after a couple steps turns into a massive conflict between a serial killer who is trying to hide his identity and a rookie thug trying to steal an infamous killer's identity for his reputation. It is an interesting quest line that throws you in between two evil characters, and for this reason it is my pick for the best minor quest in Dark Souls 2. In this franchise, pretty much no questline has a happy ending. It is no different for Lucatiel. In the world of Dark Souls, if someone catches the undead curse, they are cast away from their homeland. In the first game, based on a character's origin, they would be exiled to a different location. Clerics would be sent to catacombs, people from Astora would be prisoned in undead asylum. In Dark Souls 2, exiles are sent to Drangleic, and this is exactly what happens to Lucatiel. But unlike all the other adventurers, Lucatiel doesn't have a heroic cause. She's not there to become a famous adventurer or link the fire once again. She just wants to be cured and she wants to live a normal life. Throughout the game, she talks about her ambitions. She starts off as a character who wants to cure her undead curse and return to her home safely. As you progress more in your journey, she accepts her fate and she welcomes Halloween. She now only talks about leaving a legacy behind. She is aware it is too late for her, so she just wants to be remembered by others when she is finally gone. This hits especially hard when you watch her slowly become an undead. She loses her memories and a little bit of her humanity each time you meet her. She is in a hostile world all by herself, hoping she will find answers, but with each death, each time she fails and dies, she comes closer to becoming an undead. In Dark Souls 2, anytime you help someone in a boss fight, you will gain your humanity back, and for Lucatiel, in this case, she only restores a bit of her humanity when she helps you in a fight. With the way she behaves during boss fights, you know her hollowness went too far. She can't attack properly, she does pretty much no damage, and she refuses to heal herself half the time. But once you make it to the end of her questline, this time you are too late to save her. She encounters her hollow brother and she is killed by her own brother repeatedly until she becomes a hollow. Pretty much every character has a tragic end, but I love Lucatiel's story especially because of how realistic her struggles and purposes are. She doesn't want to save the world, she doesn't want to start a new age, she doesn't chase wealth, she just wants to be remembered by others. This is her entire cause. Many characters in this world usually have such noble and heroic ambitions, but Lucatiel is such a unique character because of how relatable and realistic her struggles are. And for this reason, I believe Lucatiel is the most impactful character in Dark Souls 2. Picking the best quest for Dark Souls 3 was actually hardest among all the games in this list. There are so many great quests with interesting and likable characters. Considering the amount of well-written quests, I assume there will be a lot of different opinions on this game, so do let me know what are your favorites in this title. Starting with the best minor quest, it has to be Patches. He survives to see many ages of hollowing. He witnesses the fading fire more than anyone except maybe Gale. Without a doubt, Dark Souls 3 shows the best version of Patches across all From Software games. We get to see and learn more of his actions and how he manages to stop hollowing for thousands of years. Patches still has the same motivation as he had in the first game. He still hates clerics and he still hunts them. And knowing that clerics in Dark Souls 3 turned against Gwyn and they tried to create a new god to drown the entire world in darkness, his motivations were more than justified. In the base game, Patches is more of a guardian angel to another NPC. Throughout the game, he protects Grey Rat in disguise, but his questline shines in Ring City. Unlike how he behaves in Radahn fight in Elden Ring, Patches in Ring City never shies away from jumping into danger for the player. He helps you against the Demon Prince, he gives you literally the most important item in the game, and even after he restores his memory, he still fights by your side against the danger, quite literally worse than that. Losing a fight against Judicator means your soul will forever be a slave to this giant, yet he accepts it and he joins the fight. In the entire game, Patches helps you in his unique way, and his questline adds so much to the game. So for this reason, I believe Patches has the best minor questline in the game. Though I technically talked about two separate quests, but let's just not focus on that part. For the major quests, a lot would say Yuria or Anri. However, I will go with Sigurd of Katarina. He's the upgraded version of Sigmar from Dark Souls 1 in pretty much every way. While his questline doesn't affect the ending like some other questlines, I still think his part in Dark Souls 3 is the most fleshed out and well designed quest in the entire game. Each step of the quest offers a satisfying dialogue. In the grim world of Dark Souls, it is always refreshing to see cheerful, friendly characters. Soleil is not present in this game, however Sigurd all by himself carries the entire role of comic relief perfectly. He will be stuck trying to figure out how he can use an elevator, he will casually destroy a demon and then he will take a nap next to his corpse, he will end up naked at the bottom of a well. Despite every situation, he never loses his fighting spirit, so he can honor his promise to an old friend. There are so many heroic moments in Dark Souls 3, mostly done by the main character. However, Sigurd's cinematic before Yorm and his battle cry right before the fight is easily the most epic moment in the game. Sadly, his questline ends right after Yorm's fight. Sigurd dies due to his wounds in the battle. In From Software games, pretty much every questline ends with an NPC dying, however no NPC saddened me as much as Sigurd did. It may be a great ending to his story, but Sigurd definitely deserved better. Sekiro is an amazing game in so many ways, and to this day I still haven't seen a single other game that handled sword fighting better. Sekiro doesn't have From Software's traditional RPG mechanics, instead it is an action-packed shorter game. For this reason, this game doesn't have a lot of side missions, and the ones that exist are quite short and simple with underwhelming rewards. So my choice for Sekiro is Kotaro. He is a gentle giant you will encounter in Senpo Temple. For a Sekiro quest, this one has surprising amount of different endings. Now the quest is nothing too complicated, you just have to find the red and white pinwheel near the cliff next to Armored Warrior fight, or you can go out of your way and find the white pinwheel. Neither of these items are difficult to find or require you to beat a powerful enemy, so quest is rather simple and short. After finding the pinwheels, you have 3 different endings. There's a bad ending where you send him to the abandoned dungeon and let Dojin experiment on him. Then there's the neutral ending. It will allow you to send him to Anayama. In this scenario, he will be happy, but he will also be exploited by the merchant. Basically, he will rob graves for Anayama. And lastly, good ending can be accessed with the white pinwheel. With this, you will send Kotaro to the Hall of Illusion, where he will reunite with his friends. In this ending, his character gives me some Studio Ghibli vibes, I don't know why. It is a small quest with little to no impact to the gameplay. I don't have a lot to talk about the other quest lines in Sekiro, I just wanted to talk about a single questline, so let's just move to the next game. There are so many minor quests in Elden Ring, and I assume there will be a lot of discussion about the best one based on one's taste. There are many great quests like Millicent's or Alexander's questline, but for the best minor quest I will go with Selen. Even though I don't play Souls games as a caster, especially as a sorcerer, I still enjoyed Selen's questline a lot. It has a unique ending and an amazing motivation behind it. Selin's questline starts once you find her body. She is an exiled sorcerer who practices glintstone sorceries along with some other renowned powerful sorcerers. Throughout her questline, she is portrayed as a character who tries to bring the academy to its glorious days again. She is one of many sorcerers exiled from academy simply because they were practicing a school of sorcery Renala didn't enjoy. She will send you to hidden places to find and rescue other sorcerers who are also practicing in this glintstone sorcery. You will discover many locations tied to her questline, and you will even unlock some sorceries exclusive to her questline. As a sub-story, it works perfectly. You will find and rescue an exile. She plans to restore forgotten sorceries. She promises to take over the academy and help you on your cause. In pretty much every Souls game, main character will have questionable motivation that will make you feel like an evil character at one point, and by the end of Selin's questline, you learn why Primal Glintstone is a forbidden school. Entire questline follows the motivation that you are chasing a noble cause against an oppressive family that took over the academy, only to realize Renala is against glintstone sorceries in order to protect her students from an evil source that will strip everything they have. It is a unique quest because you blindly follow a prisoner, and without knowing, you almost destroy the academy with an evil source of magic. For the major questlines, well, for me and many others, there's no competition. I will pick the obvious here and I will go with Ranni's questline. There are some other interesting questlines like Fears, for example, but you can skip most of the questline and complete the last step right away. So based on the amount of steps you can skip on the other questlines, Ranni's quest feels the most polished and impactful adventure for the story. From Software games are usually not known for their quest designs, at least not in a good way. In the early games, if you killed a single boss before exhausting every single dialogue with an NPC, you could be completely locked out of the quest for the entire playthrough. Elden Ring is more forgiving in this aspect. Ranni's questline is their best design yet. It is a single questline that gives you more content than a Ubisoft game. There are so many secret locations that you can discover by following Ranni's questline, and Age of Stars ending is the most popular ending for a reason. Chances of breaking it due to killing the wrong boss at the wrong time is pretty much non-existent. For a proper major quest, it also includes so many interesting side characters and side missions with the addition of NPCs like e.g. Blade, Celovis. Ranni not only directly affects the game by offering you a brand new ending, but throughout the game, as you follow the questline, you will also receive items that will help you complete other major questlines. You will travel to many distinct areas, you will receive many powerful sorceries, you will receive some unique summons, weapons, all by following a single questline. Even though she causes pretty much all the chaos in Lens between, and so many important characters die because of her, it is still difficult to not like Ranni. If you follow her questline to the end, she supplants Marika as goddess, and you will be stuck with a loveless arranged marriage, but I don't see any issue here. It is a perfect ending, and Ranni's questline is the best major quest in the game. Well, this was all for today. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give a like and subscribe. It helps so much. Also, don't forget to share your favorites. I'm especially curious about the titles I didn't cover in this video. But thanks for watching. I will see you on the next one. Bye.